conference will now be recorded.
We'll begin with the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to September 19th Marion County Commission meeting. Begin with public comments. Are there any public comments? Okay, Matt, I'll let you finish signing.
Let me fill out my phone there. You guys have a place?
As a microphone.
At the mic?
Yeah. That way the people online can hear.
Should I set now?
Yes, please.
Okay, excellent.
We're ready, Matt.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Get your right and walking in the door.
Yeah, I apologize for just walking in the door. That was going to be
good time.
Good timing, I guess. I just wanted to talk to the commission a little bit about a grant proposal that we're putting together. We've been working, well, it's the SEED grant, which is a new grant through the Department of Commerce. It's part of the ongoing funding that's sort of been coming down from the federal government, and so we had a couple people have reached out to me to talk a little bit about this grant and sort of what we could do with it. In doing a little research and going to the webinars for the DOC, they're only giving out one per county. And so rather than competing with ourselves internally, we decided that it would probably be a good idea if we could work together and try to do something collaboratively. And so one of the elements in there, they have a couple that you can do community vibrancy things, but they also have a special carve out for rural grocery stores. Peabody Market reached out to our Network Kansas e-community program, and we service that half of the county in the Hillsborough side. So we took that call and decided to work together with that. They needed some additional improvements for their point of sale system so that they can do EBT and double up food box. And so we put that together as part of this grant. It's up to $50,000 grant with a 10% match. And so each of the participants in this would have to provide the 10% match. We had Dale's Supermarket in Hillsborough wants to do some flooring. They need to do that. So they're going to be submitting for that. I talked with Gospel Market and they sent me a proposal to buy some new energy efficient cases. So they're willing to participate with that. And the Tampa store wanted to do an upgrade of their their lighting to LED lights. And so we've kind of got a grouping there together, and hopefully be able to put together a nice competitive application with those. And the city of Marion is asking for some funds from this grant to do another community mural. I have no idea what that is.
Did you talk to the grocery store?
We didn't talk to Carlson's. They weren't brought up into the conversation. I think they felt like the Marion ED side felt like that they had just finished a lot of upgrades to their facilities. So
they do they've been a 10-year project. They do something every year. A
little bit every year.
Sure,
so that we were working with the Economic Development Council in Marion. I apologize, I don't know their name.
Advancement Campaign.
I apologize, I don't know their name. I worked a lot with Emily Campaign.
We don't have an economic
anymore. Yeah, they don't have an economic development person, but there's a group I'm not exactly sure the name of it. I apologize. But they wanted to submit for a mural project, so we kind of grouped that in there too, because there is a place for community vibrancy.
That's going to make us money how?
I don't know. It will make the community a better place, and hopefully people will want to come visit more.
Okay.
I myself I'm a proponent of community art. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful quality of life enhancement thing. There's nothing wrong with it.
Hate to pay for the grant money.
Well, sure. I mean, that's
kind of like a handball.
Yeah. Well, I no comment on any of that. I don't know.
So those are the proposals you're packaging?
Yeah, those are the proposals we're packaging together to have a competitive application. The application is due at the end of the month because, of course, it is. That's sort of how the Department of Commerce has been working lately. And so what I'm asking for the county commission to do is to offer a letter of support for this package of projects. We've got one already from Network Kansas, and so we'd like to ask the county commission for a letter of support. We're not asking for any kind of financial contribution because everybody who's involved is providing their own. So that's what we're here to ask for.
I'd say it's a great cause, and I'd move that the commission.
This public
It's
comment
just
can't move.
No,
Okay.
My first question is that a maximum of 50,000
That's an authority thing.
Yes, sir.
to each project or
No,
total?
total
Okay.
package, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the projects have been, well, Buddy's I think is 5,000. Fossil grocery was a little bit more, about 7,000. The lighting in Tampa was 4,000.
Okay.
So yeah, they're kind of coming in under that range, and
Okay.
we'll be able to get it underneath that 50,000. I think, pretty confident.
Yes.
When is your application due?
It's due at the end of the month. It's a quick turnaround, and I can actually draft an exam. I've got examples, and I can
Please.
do a draft for if that would be helpful.
And then it's submitted to Tina, and then Tina can bring it to our
Yeah.
next 20 meeting on the 26th.
Absolutely.
That way we can all sign that.
I just kinda hate to ask the one grocery store, ask every other one in the county. And
Well, I can reach out to Carlson's
I think
and see
that
if
was
that
it.
would
Well, that would at least be asked.
Yeah, can certainly do that. No problem doing that.
Yeah.
Most of the-
They're feeling left out.
I mean, got every other one,
Mhm.
I think.
What we tried to. It's one of those things we're kind of working on. I have to admit I'm not as familiar with this half of the county as I am with the other because that's
It's a-
where we
it's good-
serve.
It's a good part over here.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely. I don't mind. I love coming over here. don't have as much experience. I'm just kind of doing this to make sure that we have a competitive application. But it's,
That's good. We're good. If you get that to Tina, and
Yes.
we'll get it taken care of, signed on Monday, and get it to you then.
okay, excellent. Thank you. Do you have any more questions I can answer for you? Okay.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you putting this all together. All right, that will close public comments. We'll move into agenda approval.
We have one on public comment.
It was a question from Jerry Mendoza. He wants to submit an insurance claim for vehicle damage on his car on the road, and Bryce answered his question. That it needs to be submitted to the road department to submit to insurance.
All right, any other changes to the agenda? We will, EMS is going to be expanded, so the road and bridge probably move back to 2 o'clock. We need to leave at 2.
Go upstairs for that.
Okay. Why don't we move into administrative? Is there anything else need to be added to the agenda? Okay, we'll move to administrative.
Okay, we have the minutes of September 12.
Commission's had a chance to review the minutes of September 12th. Any corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve? Commissioner Dahlke, is there a second? This is Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 4 with 1 abstention.
All right, well, let's talk about the air conditioning.
That got moved up.
So I got a call this morning when I was on my way in, and when they went to open the building this morning, there was water leaking in the custodial and the boiler room area. So we had a pretty big leak, and the building was hot. And so I got a hold of our vendor right away. They've been out. There was some sort of a major malfunction over the weekend, possibly to do with the power fluctuation, I'm not 100% sure, but the unit, something happened with the unit to where the controls didn't function properly, so the water and the unit itself got hot enough that it melted all the piping, the PVC piping that was, leading up to it. So that is gonna be a major repair. It's pretty severe damage. And so what they have done today is they came and they've taken a look at it. He was able to determine what the problem is, to rebuild on that piping. So this piping has been in place longer, like over 22 years, and it hasn't failed. But he said doing it with copper would be better, but it would take longer and be about 3 times probably the cost than just to replace it with PVC. And they sourced out the parts today. They were able to find PVC parts in Wichita and Salina, so they're going to get all those parts today. They're going to start cutting out all the old piping tomorrow and rebuilding. But they have to put it together and let it cure, basically, set up for several hours, at least 4 hours, before they can turn pressure back on. And so, at the very least, we will be without air conditioning until the end of the day tomorrow, and it's just going to get hotter in the building. I asked him ballpark, just for the cheapest repair that we're doing, is ballpark about $8,000. So I just wanted to let you know. And I don't know if you want to. There's not really going to be any way to get the heat out of the building. You know, even if we open up all the windows tonight, that's not going to, it's not getting down cool outside.
You probably actually increase the temp.
So tomorrow is going to be another probably 100-degree day. So throughout the day, it's just going to keep getting hotter. So I just want to let you know about that. I don't know if you want to make any changes, or if you want us just use fans, or if you want to I don't know if you want to consider closing the building tomorrow. I don't know what court has going on, so you can check that. But anyway, just that's what's happening with the air conditioning today. So we've tried keeping all the blinds closed, using fans. We have some offices turning lights down.
I would say if we have any employees that are affected health-wise by that kind of heat, that they be allowed to not have to work. I hate to close the building.
Unless the temperature would rise, some threshold at some point. Hopefully we'll get to that point.
The good thing is it's a stone building with windows.
Inside temperature up there,
It definitely is able to withstand the heat there.
It's like the old days.
Yeah, and the closer to the center and the low points of the building, of course, the cooler it is. But the higher and the more outside you get, the hotter it is.
Just say everybody bring their own personal fan or.
And is there enough time frame of work to be done? 3 days, 5 days?
He felt like if he gets all the parts today, that they might be able to have it done by the end of the day tomorrow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe Wednesday.
That's best case scenario.
That's best case, yeah.
Cool.
So,
Realistic Wednesday.
right.
They just got to continue. I know we bought air conditioning a couple weeks ago. Girls at front fans take lots of water. We might provide ice water for it.
Bring in an ice maker.
We have an ice maker.
Okay.
Okay,
It's big enough.
It's tough.
so anyway, that's what that is about.
Okay.
I have from Krista the WIC agreement. This is typically approved and signed by the chairman of the commission, or approved by the board and signed by the chairman. She's reviewed it. There are 2 places to sign. It just basically outlines everything that the county should be receiving through WIC, and she's reviewed it and knows everything that they were expecting. So that's what this.
Is there a motion to approve the WIC agreement? Motion by Commissioner Garing, second by Commissioner Crowfoot. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. In my previous action, the law say for this chairman to sign, right?
Yeah, I'll have to say that.
Is there people in and out of the courthouse during the weekend, and people come in? and check things?
Sometimes,
Not that this could have been caught.
yeah, I mean, we don't have people on a schedule
So,
coming in on the
This is
weekends.
their-
People do come and go.
Yeah, they come and
So
go.
it's not here
I mean, we caught this.
Yeah.
I asked Zach that same thing, and he did, I mean, it's kind of a fluke, I don't know that,
Yeah, it's,
but I will say that unit is pretty old. So,
Straightforward.
It's still on the boiler system, right?
yes,
So, so
yeah.
it's-
And then the cooling system is a chiller, and
Yeah.
it's water circulatory system.
There's a lot of living parts.
We have a salary sheet.
Okay, we have a new deputy sheriff, Presley Maybe, starting at $17.84 an hour, effective 9/12.
Got a green one for me.
I sent you an email earlier today that has the proposed job description for the 911 dispatch manager. It's just updated. We used to call that position communications supervisor, and so we've updated it to be the appropriate name, and worked with the interim dispatch leaders to try to make sure that we had everything all up to date as far as the lingo. So it is ready for commission approval unless you have specific questions or issues with it that you would like someone to address.
How many positions we got there? I mean, isn't that,
This is one job description, so it's, what I sent you is the old one, the proposed updates, the red line version, and then the brand new one.
Okay.
That's the clean. So it's 3 or 4 versions of the same thing.
we've combined it all in one?
No, it's one, it's always been one position.
Okay.
There's certain lines that have been omitted and other verbiage put in.
That way you had a chance to review the old job description, the changes made to it, and then the final.
Right.
new one.
So this is, like I said, it used to be called communications supervisor. Now, under the new pay plan, it's called 911 dispatch manager. But that job description had not been updated for a long time. So,
Still has communications supervisor.
right, I
Marginal
highlighted that.
functions.
I highlighted that so that I can have that fixed. So we would definitely want to, we would fix that before. But everything else, I think, is up to date.
Any other questions? If not, I'd move to approve the new 911 dispatch manager job description as presented.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, we'll get that finished up, and that way they can get it posted and move ahead. Last week I had mentioned the KAC annual conference. That is Monday, October 17th through Wednesday, October 19th in Overland Park. And I heard from 2 commissioners, I believe, to say register for the whole thing, but that you would drive up on Monday and not stay Sunday night. So I believe that was Commissioner Crowfoot and Commissioner Mueller. Do we know from other commissioners what you all want to do? Same thing?
Probably not.
I'll probably go up.
Not at all?
I'll probably go up on Monday.
Okay, so everybody's thinking they won't stay Sunday night, but they'll drive up on Monday, stay Monday night, possibly Tuesday night, and then come home. Okay.
I may not stay Tuesday night.
Okay.
I may just be there for Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. Do you want to let me know for sure?
Yeah,
So I
I'll let
can-
you know this
Okay, yeah, find out what you would like to do, and then I will make sure that the room reservations are adjusted accordingly. And I'm probably gonna register for the full conference, so I'll probably use your room, since if you're not going, Randy. Because they've got quite a few things that I think
Good.
this time I'm gonna try to
Good.
take
Good deal.
advantage of. Usually I just go for our affiliate meeting, because I don't ever have time, but I'll give it a whirl. Okay,
Oh, yes, do we need to name a delegate?
yes, that's what I was gonna say next. So we have a voting delegate for, K-Work, which is our, workers' compensation. And so, on this one, they would like a voting delegate and an alternate. And they're meeting Monday, October 17th, at 5:30 p.m. And if you want to do that today, we can. We can always wait till next week if we need to, but we need to do it soon, yeah.
Chairman's
What's the
The other one is, K-Camp, which is our liability insurance. And their meeting is at the same time.
That's why I was gonna ask.
Oh,
I
just
thought they usually did one and then the other, but both of these say 5:30 on Monday, so.
If you're gonna be in two places at once, then that's why I was asking.
And they are also asking for a delegate and,
That's weird.
an alternate.
One's to 5:30,
One's
one's
trying to.
I'll make a
Well-
motion to elect the chairman and vice chairman as the delegates and Jonah and Randy's alternate.
Randy won't be
Randy's
there.
not
Oh,
there.
John's the alternate.
Okay.
You can sue me on
I
that.
guess Jonah and I as alternate.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Can't you
Okay,
write
so
the
can you repeat that, please? Could you repeat
Oh,
your
repeat
motion?
that.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to appoint the chairman and vice chairman to be our delegates. I don't care which one they go
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
Jonah and I could be the
Alternate.
alternates.
I'll second that.
There we go. Motion and second, appointing voting delegates to K-Work and K-Camp. Is there a second? You second it. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We have our delegates.
Okay, and I have to respond to each company individually, or each pool individually, so who would like what?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
They can choose. Or she
It
chooses.
is.
all right,
Let us know.
I'll just divide it up and bring back the
Yep.
forms for approval next
Yep.
time. Okay.
K-Camp, K-Work, interchange.
Yeah.
At some point, I do need just a quick 5-minute executive session for non-elected personnel. I don't need that right this second, but I do need it sometime today. And then I have a couple other things.
Okay.
So I know that KAC week is busy, but we also have Thursday, the day after KAC, is the 62nd Annual Senior Citizens of Marion County meeting, and that will be at the Hillsborough Senior Center. And the registration is open for that. The cost is $5.25, and they will hold that at 12 o'clock as we usually do.
Thursday following.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you all think about that and let me know maybe next week who all can come to that.
What date is that?
That's a
Thursday.
Thursday, October 20.
October
Oh,
20th.
October 20.
Yeah, so it's right after KAC.
Go ahead and put me down, I usually go.
Okay?
You wouldn't have far to walk.
Good, be good
luck.
No, I meant he's at the bank.
At 12 noon?
Yes,
I don't
in
have far to
Hillsborough.
walk either.
I'm not even there anymore. You know, I got fired.
Oh, no.
Downsized.
All right.
Hillsborough.
Next.
Are you, want me to put you on the list, Randy, or you
Yeah.
think?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just, when I, well, I'm just on call in places. They never call me.
On the table, I gave you the information sheet for the USDA Rural Development Community Facilities Loan and Grant. And so that's the program that Matt Meyerhoff brought up when he was here. You can do a combination of a loan and a grant for potential for the health department for helping to fund that, Jonah, since you work on. But I will say, so there are a lot of steps. So there's a pre-application, and then there's kind of a lot of steps and paperwork. The maximum grant amount that we could apply, that we could receive is $50,000. So that's, I mean, I don't know what the maximum loan amount would be, but that's the grant. So.
Okay. Thank you for getting that to us.
And that was all I have besides the executive.
We just got a couple minutes before 1 o'clock. Let's go through our schedule for the next several weeks for commission meetings. Okay, today's the 19th, the 26th. Kent, you'll be gone, right?
And the 30th.
Okay, and the 30th. That's what I wanted to find out for sure. So you will be gone the 26th, which will be a regular meeting. 30th is payday. So when we go to October,
I'll be here for the October meeting if I'm not stuck in the airport somewhere.
well, do we have an October meeting? Since we have payday.
Thank you.
It's actually before we go with the next
Well,
meeting.
that's why I'm asking.
So you hadn't all decided really, because
Right.
that's your land bank day.
Yeah.
Whether you're gonna have a regular meeting or even have a land bank meeting or not. And then in October,
Have a holiday.
the
Columbus
10th
Day.
is Columbus Day. We do
It's the
have,
11th.
so it'd be on the 11th.
And then the next week is the conference. So 17th, 18th, 19th are out. Do we not have any meeting that week?
I don't think, in the past, I don't think we have.
Just allow you to be back. I mean, it'd be
Yeah,
something
close
else.
enough.
Unless something comes up and you have to have a special.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. So we will not have a meeting the week of the 17th.
Right.
Okay. And we will meet on the 11th, which is a Tuesday, and we will have a meeting on the 3rd.
I'll be there.
Okay.
If I'm not stuck in an airport somewhere,
Okay.
supposed to get into Wichita at midnight.
Okay. Well, part of the reason I'm asking
That's
is
dangerous.
I was waiting to start trying to schedule legislators to come in. So I wanted to make sure, if possible, I tried to do it on a commission day, save a trip.
So
Right,
I,
right.
Or
okay.
have you already?
Well, no, I wanted to ask you about that
Okay.
because I don't know if you want to wait till after the election to have them in, because Representative Barker is no longer going to be our representative. So I don't know how much sense it makes to me with him.
Right.
And then Stephen Owens, he does have competition. I mean, we don't know who our elected officials will be in the next session for the House of Representatives. I could schedule with Senator Wilborn, but I don't get a lot of response from him
I
typically.
can
So,
tell you, but at the same time, are
So I
we
wasn't
getting,
sure.
is there another senator taking part of Marion County?
no.
I think Wilmore's got the whole county, doesn't he?
The House
House is split.
changed.
Right, that's Senate District.
Right.
So, the Senate was
Or
changed.
the number has changed, but it's the whole, it's still only
Yeah,
one.
Wilmore's gonna have to
It's
go
the whole
against,
county.
The guy down in El Dorado.
Well, that's the guy in El Dorado. I thought he was going to represent part of Marion County.
So
One
that
or the
Senate
other.
district is not on the ballot this time.
Right,
It'll
right.
be in 2 years.
Right.
So as far as I know, Senator Wilborn is our senator.
Okay.
They did change our Senate district number,
Okay.
but it's still a countywide district. The whole county falls into that district.
Okay, okay. The commission want to wait to meet until after the election then?
I think that they're gonna be busy campaigning, and I don't really know who we're supposed to,
That's okay.
who we're gonna end up working with, so.
Is that agreeable?
It's fine.
Still, let's go ahead with Prairie View though. Try to set a meeting with Prairie View and the sheriff.
Oh, okay.
Now that we know our dates, that could be scheduled during a regular commission meeting for sure. It'd be a lot easier to schedule than 3 legislators. But let's go ahead and get Prairie View on our radar with the sheriff.
Okay.
Is that right?
Got something for Mr. Jantz, I think, letter of intent for the board. you know, is Brad supposed to maybe come up with that, but we didn't talk to Brad about it. You're working on it, right? Letter of intent?
Working on it, that's a broad definition. Yes.
Okay, I do have two that's ready once we get to that letter, so I can present that letter.
Okay.
All right, we got the schedule laid out. Anything else in administrative? If not, I believe our next person is here for the Kansas Mobility Management Transportation, OCCK. Hi, come on in.
How are you guys?
Great, have a seat up there by the
This
microphone
one,
for our
okay.
online audience.
Sure. I brought a little bit of information with me that I'll pass out.
Great.
No, that's just the best way.
Just
Pass it down.
Yeah.
6 hours or 7?
3, 4, might be 7 exactly.
Okay.
Perfect.
One for
I'll
each
take the
person.
bottom one.
There you go.
Pass them down.
All right, well, thanks for having me. So I'm Michelle Griffin. My partner in crime, Trell, was not able to come today. It's Monday in Salina, and we had the crazy weather over the weekend, so she's had some people out trying to deal with tree limbs and power lines and things like that. So she's not here with me, but I can do her update. And so we just wanted to come down. So OCCK Transportation does provide service for Marion County. It's one of the 14 counties in their service area, and I don't think we've ever been down here to introduce ourselves, to let you guys know that we're here, what we do. So that's just the purpose of what we're doing today. So I did bring you guys a bunch of information about all the services that OCCK provides, so you can kind of run through those, and then I've got some service numbers that I can update you on, and then any questions that you all have for me. We're happy to go through that. So kind of the first and the most important one is this green one that says we can get you there. This is the brochure that talks about all of the transportation services that OCCK provides. So if you flip it inside, I'll just run through these really quickly. So CityGo is our fixed route that runs in Salina. Serves about 200 to 250,000 people a year, so it's really used. Runs Monday through Friday and then also on Saturday. One of the services that serves Marion County is regional paratransit, and so that's door to door. So white vans, white buses, they'll come pick you up, take you where you need to go, and bring you back home. Those are shared ride services. You have to call and make an appointment to be picked up to take that. 81 Connection is our fixed route that runs from Salina to Belleville. So it's a regional route, runs 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. Started in 2017, and we have just served right over 10,000 people. So again, a lot of people are using that to get where they need to go in north central Kansas. In 2019, OCCK partnered with the city of Abilene to continue their transportation services. So within the city limits of Abilene, they run 2 buses every day through that partnership with the city. And then in 2021, they did the same thing within the city limits of Concordia. So that's within the city limits, just serving those 2 communities. We've offered Can Connect for the past couple of years. The most recent kind of version of Can Connect is a daily trip that goes between Salina and Solomon. Uses a lot of people get to work from Salina to Solomon, especially Solomon Corp, or now it's not Solomon Corp, it's I don't remember the name of it. They've recently changed their name, but we have a lot of people that use that service, especially with the price of gas right now. Tons of people taking advantage of that. Then we've got Medivan service. And so this is really one that's impacted your community quite a bit. So this is a partnership with Salina Regional Health Center and any of their affiliates. So Tammy Walker Cancer Center, any of their other clinics. They've also now own the hospital in Lindsborg, Abilene, and Concordia. So any of those trips to any of those facilities are no cost for the person that's taking them. So that's a great partnership that we have with them. We have Can Cycle that we started in 2019. It's regional bike sharing. And so that's a program that I'm heavily involved with as mobility manager. We have 80 bikes spread across 8 communities in north central Kansas. So we brought bikes to Lincoln, Ellsworth, Beloit, Mankato, Belleville, Concordia, Minneapolis, and Salina. So we were able to bring those bikes in and have a great regional bike sharing. Another service that you would have here in Marion County is Medicaid, or non-emergency medical transportation. So anyone that has Medicaid in the state of Kansas is able to get a couple of rides to their medical appointments, and so they can schedule those with their provider, and then OCCK will go and pick them up and take them. Kansas City, Wichita, Newton, any of those larger facilities where they need to get those specialty services. We also have a partnership with the airport in Salina where we can get people to and from the airport. And then another program that we have is called travel training. So I get to teach people how to use all of these services. So that's a lot of what I spend my time on is, you know, going through these things, explaining them how they work, especially CityGo and 81 Connection, because those are a little bit more complicated, but it's great life skills to have, especially if you travel a lot and are going to use transit in bigger cities. So that is pretty much OCCK's transportation department in a nutshell. They probably have about 70 employees now, so have a lot of vehicles on the road every single day, going a lot of different directions.
And we're in your jurisdiction.
You are. So when they started the transportation department, which was before me, they followed the Sunflower Health Network, and so Marion County was part of that original network. So just a little bit of update on numbers. We looked these up this morning. So in 2021, we served 9 customers in Marion County. And what do you think that number looks like in 2022?
Well,
Anyone want to throw a number out?
15.
23.
A lot more.
A lot more.
120.
Whoa.
120 rides just in 2022 so far for Marion County citizens.
You
So
got which cities?
I don't have that full list. We did go and look at some of that this morning. There were really a couple of passengers that took advantage, especially of the Medivan partnership, to get to Tammy Walker to the Cancer Center. And so that was a large portion
Once
of
a week,
those
yeah.
rides, yeah. But you know, that's a great service. So think about that for that family. We're able to get them to those cancer appointments. They don't have to drive themselves. They can ride. They can kind of relax a little bit, and it's no charge to them. So that really is a great cost saver for those families. So we thought that was really great. So we do have that really good partnership. So we spend a lot of time communicating with them, and obviously Tammy Walker is communicating that value to their patients, and so we were really surprised by that number. We weren't expecting that huge of an increase either, but that's really good. And then I gave you just a bunch of just other little things that you can look at or hand out. There is one on our bike sharing program if you're more interested in learning about that. And then a little bit about me and mobility management. So I'm kind of in a special position. There's only 6 of us in the state of Kansas. And so my territory is actually north central Kansas, so Saline and Ellsworth north to Nebraska. I work with all of the providers in that region, and I kind of just do whatever they need me to do. So marketing, outreach, networking. We made up this brochure to share with people in those counties about all of the services that are available. So each county kind of has their own smaller agency, and then OCCK is kind of the big brother that can help out with any rides that need to go a little bit further or a little bit more outside the service area. So this is just for your information. So from what I looked at, it didn't look like there was another provider here in Marion County that I was familiar with that goes through the KDOT program. So I don't know if you guys have thoughts about needs of transportation in your communities.
I guess the first step would be, have you worked or contacted our Department of Aging?
I have not. I saw she was next
She's
on
next
this
on the
schedule,
agenda.
so I thought that I could give her a packet.
That'd be awesome.
We have not done any outreach down
Okay.
here at all. This is
Okay.
kind of just our first
That'd be a good place to
step
start.
into that.
Exactly. I mean, she could really get the word out.
Sure. Yep.
You know, right now, transportation is just being handled locally through the Department of Aging. And I believe we used to, like way in the past, we went through the KDOT program, but we stopped doing that many years ago.
Isn't there some transportation grants for, or transportation things that you have to apply for yearly?
Yeah, so that would be through the KDOT program. Uh-huh. Yeah,
I think that's what I'm thinking of, Chase County and maybe.
probably,
Some of the other counties around
Yes.
that has it.
right.
Harvey County maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of the other closer one is like Harrington, so the senior center in Harrington does transportation within the city limits of Harrington. So,
But all this is at no cost or just minimal?
it
cost?
depends on which program you're in. We try to keep the cost very minimal, for people. Regional paratransit would be 10 cents a mile.
50
It's
miles
still
down.
way under what you can drive.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. And
Is
it-
that, it's 10 cents a mile, 50 miles?
Yeah,
One way, and you have to go.
correct, right. And then city goes $2 a day, $35 for a monthly pass, so very minimal.
You know, we're new.
We did look at, we did take some, people on Medicaid to Newton,
Yeah.
so
I don't know what most people doctor have.
I think it kind of, looks like it varies here, which direction they need to go.
A lot of people go to McPherson too.
Sure.
Northern part of the county goes north and the south
Yeah.
goes south.
Right.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. I did include our business cards in there, so if you have further questions, you wanna reach out, if you want us to come back down and with some additional information or different things, just let us know.
Well, appreciate you giving us the information
Yeah,
and
you're
background.
welcome.
It's certainly transportation has been identified in a number of our surveys as one of
Okay.
the top. Well,
I need,
because we are isolated, rural.
right,
You're going, a lot of our elderly, the population, there's a population that needs that type of service.
sure.
So it's a very, very, very good service. We just need to get the word out, and I hope you're able to connect with our non-aging person when she comes in.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you,
guys.
Michelle.
Have a good day. Try to stay cool.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
There she is.
Okay. Thanks. So I'm from, MCC Meeting Transportation, Selena. I gave them a little update.
She got a little full presentation.
So this was just brochures and information about what we do, and if you want me to come back, when I have more time, I'd be happy to go through those specific things to figure out what more we can do or what we need to do. I can come down and do presentations. My business cards, and then I'm Michelle. Trevor wasn't here.
Okay.
Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Center of the, whatever it is. Sure.
Yeah.
That's just.
Trying to save energy.
Huh?
Trying to save energy.
We should try to lose weight. That too, huh?
Right.
But do they have a report? Oh, okay. How about the copies?
I sent it in their packet, but
Oh, okay,
if somebody needs a paper copy.
okay. All right.
Hello, Gayla.
Hi. Okay. I can use an extra one?
I should have one.
I got one.
Should have an extra.
Then she can hand it us.
Okay, yeah, we have a thing outside our office you can stick it on, but I'll get, I'm sure I have a copy in my office, so.
We got the free documentation, I will let you distribute it.
Okay. Okay. I did my Retirement 101 class here right at the very end of August, and I had 15 people who came to that, and generally that's a way, it's a contact for people who come to that, and then when they get ready to retire or go on Medicare, then lots of times then they call me. And then sometimes they send their friends and all kinds of people. So it's just a way to make contact. This past quarter, I helped 13 people with pre-retirement counseling, either signing up for Social Security or Medicare, so that's from June to August. And right now we're kind of we're a couple weeks away, but there's stuff out there beginning to get out there about prescription drug enrollment. And so here next Tuesday, we'll be sending out our newsletter. And in our newsletter, we're inserting a form that they can fill out with their prescription on it, and they can either mail back to our office, or they can drop it off at the 3 senior center sites, and then I would go and pick them up. And so again this year, I'm gonna run people's medicines, and then I'll call them in, which saves them time rather than sitting there while I'm doing it. So, so that's kind of the plan there. Tomorrow is the Sunflower Senior Fair that's in Salina, that's all day, and so we're taking a bus of, I think, 12 people to that. And Pat Henderson from Peabody, each year they always have a sensational sunflower person, and so we ask each of the senior centers throughout Marion County to nominate somebody, and then from that, then the board chooses who it's going to be. And so Pat is the sensational sunflower person for Marion County. Commodities come on Wednesday. Unfortunately, the cool front is not going to make it here before then.
It's gonna be a sweaty Wednesday.
I know. I'm glad it's at 7:30 in the morning instead of 2 in the afternoon.
Good.
And then I have given out all the farmer market checks that I got. I got 40, and I gave all of those out. And so that technically kind of ends November 1st, but I think, I mean, they can go to any farmer's market here in the state of Kansas and use those. Here in Marion County, I think I'm thinking probably a lot of them are done here in Marion County, so they would have to go to Harvey or McPherson or whatever, but they still can't use them. Our annual meeting is coming up October 20th, and that's going to be in Hillsboro. And Derek Doty is going to be kind of a speaker. He's a musician and tells stories. And then our transportation, I think we have one more trip this week. We still have next week, so people could still call for that. And so you kind of, we had the Hillsboro Senior Center use the van, and the gentleman who drove it said the steering wheel had too much give in it. So we had a, oh gosh, did she put that down here? Yeah, a mechanic. But she did the drag link. He changed that out. And then one of our people on the transportation board said, well, you need to check the shocks. So we had the van go out to 56 tire service out here. They aligned the tires. They said they just needed to be aligned just a little bit. They looked at the shocks. They said the shocks are fine. I mean, it's a 1989 van. It sets up high. You get out on the highway, the Kansas wind is blowing. You're going to have some movement in that wheel.
This is the big one you're talking about.
So Hillsboro is going to use it again 2 more other times. So hopefully they'll be okay with it. So.
Tell them not to complain, huh?
No, we understand. I mean, we want it to be safe,
Oh, yeah.
you know. And, you know, when you're not used to driving that, like, I mean, after they did the drag link, I went out and drove it, and I said, I don't think it rides any differently than it did before, but then I'm used to driving and used to, that, you know, you just have to hold on to the steering wheel when you're driving. So, that's all I had.
Well, very good. Sounds like it's been busy.
Yeah, it has been. So, okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hope you have a good visit with the.
Yeah, we have called them
Okay.
in the past
Okay.
and talked with them, and sometimes, you know, we only take people 60 and above. And so sometimes when we get people who do call who are younger, we will, you know, suggest this to them, that they should call them. And so, I mean, yeah, it's always nice when they're when somebody calls and they say, and we say, we can't do it, and then you go, but we don't know what you're gonna do about it, you know? I mean, here is a nice little option,
Right.
so.
Right.
We're not tied in with anybody as far as government, state government, or anything now for the van, right?
No.
On us.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just the county owns the van out there and we,
Both of them?
yes.
Very good. Any
Okay.
other questions? No, thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate all the.
Stay cool.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
The snow will be blowing before
I
you get
know,
out.
don't say that.
Hi, Chuck.
Gentlemen, how are we?
Hi.
We're gonna change up our schedule a little bit from what we talked about. Let's knock out some of the executive sessions first, because Brad has an appointment at 2:00. So, let's start out with an executive session.
Okay, let's go with the potential for legal action.
Yes. Actually, why don't we
Or-
do the one with
Or
Marcy?
Marcy first.
Okay,
Okay,
Marcy.
yes, I got you. Personnel performance
Yep,
for
that'd be right.
director's position?
Yep. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, personnel matters, law and elected personnel performance with the commission, Chuck, Marcy, Tina, and Brad. Let's go 10 minutes, 1:22 to 1:32. Second by Commissioner Gary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 1:32.
Sorry, who seconded?
Gary.
Okay. Here in a sec.
All the time? I'll be cooling out there.
Yes, I do.
Push the, in the door.
Fresh air out here, yeah.
Feels good out there?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on.
No.
All right. We're out of executive session. No decisions made. I move that we recess of executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Chuck, Brad, and Tina for 10 minutes from 1:35 to 1:45. Second by Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 1:45.
145, bro.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Chuck, Tina, Brad, for another 5 minutes, 1:48 to 1:53.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Balky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back.
Benefit analysis.
Just out of the country, I bet.
This conference will now be recorded.
Barry, you gonna come back and tell us the verdict?
If I'm successful, of course I will. If I'm not, I'm gonna go home and be dejected for a while.
We are out
If
of
you're not
executive.
successful, don't come back.
That's kind of my thought as well.
We are out of
We'll see you
executive.
pretty soon.
We're out
Wish
of
I
ex-
shared your confidence.
Yes. I'm gonna let you guys finish.
I'm so
Would
sorry.
you like me to get your gavel?
That would be nice.
We're completely out of order, and I apologize. It's up there.
Get the gavel.
It's on behind that.
I've never used
It's
it.
behind all the hands.
Oh. I never used it once here. Just thought it looked cool.
We're out of executive session. No decisions made. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss applications for EMS director pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. At the item 1, personal matters, not elected personnel performance with the commission, Chuck and Tina for 10 minutes, 1:55 to 2:05.
Very good.
Tina, second from Commissioner Gary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. That was a great song.
This conference will now be recorded.
10 minutes? 10
10
minutes.
minutes.
of executive session, no decisions made. We'll move into the regular department report.
So I just passed out a list of our write-offs for the quarter. And you'll see down at the bottom, there's 8,000. $8,855.10. You can look at it. I believe your copy has the data service, so these are kind of out of the window. Jamie's tried every kind of possibility to try to reclaim these, and we're writing with that now.
I make a motion to go ahead and accept the write-offs of $8,855.10.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlke, second by Commissioner Becker to approve the write-offs. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
And then just around the office, we've got the offices, our side is completely done and it looks great. So Jamie and I both want to thank the Board of Commissioners and Tina and everybody else involved in helping us kind of get
And is
that.
the air conditioner working?
It is a nice 72 degrees over there right now.
So we have
So
this meeting over there.
I'm just saying, we can make a break. if we
Everybody's
need
gonna be
to.
grabbing the other offices down there.
It is a nice
You're
72.
playing a bunch of visitors tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, doors open. We got plenty of room right now.
Should get the coffee pot ready.
Yeah, yeah. So August 8th, we did notify the hospitals that we were going to be charging for transfers. September 8th, I ran a report to see how many transfers we had ran in that month, in that 30-day time frame. Average for over the last 5 years, we averaged 26 to 27%. I'm sorry, 26 and a half transfers a month is what our average over the last 5 years. In that 30-day time frame, we ran 8. Almost a 70, 65% or so reduction in transfers. Of those 8 transfers, a paramedic was warranted. They were very critical. Several of them were on ventilators, some had blood hanging, some were on multiple medications via pumps. We went back and I asked Jamie if at any given point had there ever been a single-digit time period of transfers within given 30 days. So we went backtracked for 5 years, and that's where we found that average of 26 or so transfers a month. There has never been a single 30-day time period of less than 10
Do you
transfers.
know why?
Yes. So, just want to say, the crews have came to me and they appreciate everything that commissioners have done for them in the last 30 days. We've all kind of tried to pull together and keep this service going so we can have ALS units, 2 of them available. There's only been a short period of a day or 2 here or there that we've only had 1 and 1 BLS, but we have not had to shut down a full-time truck in the last 30 to 45 days.
Good.
So just want to let you guys know that's where we're at this next coming month. Hopefully we can get a couple people hired, and then I can hopefully step down back into a street level position, and then that will allow me to pull a little bit more overtime and get me out of the office and until we can get things kind of squared away and settled down back into a new rhythm.
And Travis is now.
And yes, he had resigned. He has taken a position elsewhere. He's going through his paperwork with that new position. Coming October, he should be able to start replace him as a part-time employee. So October, November timeframe, once his new wears off his new position, he'll be able to get on our truck and pull overtime shifts if we need. Well, not overtime, fill in on vacation sick leave if we need it.
Very good. Other questions? If not, appreciate Chuck that you've been able to pull back together for the EMS service, and we're really glad to see the staffing numbers improving. Obviously, critical service for our community. Yep, we appreciate what you've done.
Thank you, gentlemen.
One question. Is, since we've raised the pay, have you had any comments from a prospective person, or prospective worker? Have you had any comments about, since our rates of pay are up?
So with our rate of pay being up, it's now pretty well average.
So now it's getting this, a schedule that we were enacted on October 21st will go to 4896. I can't make paramedics appear out of nowhere. I mean, it's a national shortage. I know, you know, Dickinson County's got open spots. El Dorado, Butler County has open spots. So we're now in, at least we're in the same ball field. So now we got to try to tweak some things and try to pull some strings. But right now I have not.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. That's all we're gonna hear. That's good.
Again, thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
I told you it was gonna be a little late.
Oh, that's right. No, I just told him, I said, we're gonna have to have you at the end because, you know, he goes, now you know how we feel.
I'm just come in every week.
Yeah.
So you've set the pattern, huh?
I guess.
All right, what do you got for us today?
First thing is the pay app for the Indigo Project, 1.44 million for your approval. That is the final amount, including change orders and things like that. And then followed by here is the change order amounts, adding in all this stuff from the full depth reclamation, but also changing quantities to the final quantities. So this would be the final change there too. That's hot in here.
Well, we could move road and bridge up higher, and we can move commission.
If you go up top, they have air conditioning.
Oh, the courtroom does?
Yeah.
So we never
Just in the
approved.
courtroom?
Yeah.
We never approved change order 111.
You did on the informal submittal that they had.
Right, we approved that bid, I guess.
Yes, and so this is actually the formal process for
So
that.
I'll
Yeah,
make a motion
I
to,
was,
approve the change order number 1, Indigo Road Overlay Project to Pavement Brothers LLC.
was that Pavement Bros? I thought it changed that. I'm sorry, that should have been, let me take that back, that should have been.
Cornejo.
Cornejo, yeah.
Cornejo.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
We, in the amount of $749,005.49.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
You want that one back, John?
Yeah, I can change that if you want.
Oh, you're gonna just change it.
I don't think it would matter to them, you know, if there's like
I'll make a motion to approve the pay application number 3, final pay application for the Indigo Road Overlay Project to Cornejo and Sons. Current payment due is $1,443,603.39.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
What's the total then on the project?
Grand total was
$3,045,721.56.
That's the grand total.
Yep, yeah, that's for everything.
I thought it was gonna be higher than that.
Well, with change orders and stuff like that, that's what it was underneath it. So,
Very good.
yeah.
Good problem.
I think it turned out well. The only, I mean, and actually, would have been even less than that, but by the time we paid for the edge wedge, we had some tremendous drop offs out there. Didn't realize that some of them were probably 8 to 10 inches that we had to put in an edge wedge in. So we're set in a lot better shape now as far as edge drop offs and stuff too. So, finally, on the same project is the final pay for EVAs for the consulting on that. They had submitted one here a couple of weeks ago, and they said, why don't you just give me one for the very end? So they have the one outstanding is the one that we did pay for, and then they just added this on the bottom. So the amount that was circled down the bottom is what we actually have.
What did we pay them before?
It was like, was it 20 some thousand? Yeah, so.
Just under 21, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah.
And then maintenance there every day?
For the most part, yeah, and I did follow up if something happened or whatever else, they left, you know, so it's not like they
So
were just,
you just talking about this invoice
yes,
is what we're,
that 19,000 there at the end.
that's
That-
total due now.
Right, because we did, the first one we paid has already been paid, that 18,000 or whatever it is, or 17,000, that was the one that they had submitted, and I said, why don't you just wait and we'll do a final one to cover everything. So that would be,
Two payments to.
on this one, yes. Yeah, we paid one and then this would be the second.
Has that got meals on it too?
No. I did find out what the meals were about, when they brought in their intern, from Cimarron, and they, had to pay hotel for him, by federal law, they had to pay his expenses. So that's what that little bit was.
So they billed it to us.
Well, it's part of the project.
Yeah, but he's working as an intern for them.
But still, I mean, it's still, well, I mean, he's still an inspector, so they had him out there while they were doing other stuff. So anyway,
I'd move to pay EDH, invoice number 14077 in the amount of $19,561.73. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Balky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Hey,
4-1.
I guess I don't know whether you guys knew this, it's not extremely important, but Cornell has been purchased by Pearson Construction in Wichita. Yep.
That's big.
Very big acquisition.
I didn't think Pearson was near big enough to take on Tornado.
They did.
Wow.
They bought everything but the concrete plants or the concrete paving division or whatever else, including all the quarries and everything else.
Wow.
So they are in the process of changing to Pearson, which I think is still a good outfit. You know, obviously Pearson was the startup from the previous Cornejo people, you know, so.
I'm gonna question you because I got workers over across the street from me, and I think this Pearson is owned by Cornejo.
Well,
Some owners.
Well, Ron Cornejo is actually the president. The Pearson started when Cornejo sold out and they had some sort of a non-compete or whatever else.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's where this Pearson
It's
started.
Yeah.
And they've been getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and now all of a sudden.
They had a lack of a non-compete, if that's the case.
Well, or it was for a certain amount of time, whatever the case may be. But anyway, I'm sure there was lawyers involved with it. But anyway, it was quite a coup. I've known the rumors for quite a while. I obviously couldn't say anything, but it's transpired. So anyway, found out this morning the contractor is moving today for 190th. We'll start tomorrow. He's going to start here at the junction at Remington, go Hillsboro, skip Hillsboro, go to the west end out to the highway, and turn around and come back. Going to be running a pilot car operation through there, so.
So the north lane closure.
I'm guessing, yep. And he anticipates 5 to 6 days to get done. They've had a heck of a time bringing in material. They finally got done some jobs last week so they could bring in their own trucks just to get the material in here, so. But anyway, that's the schedule for that. New dump trucks. I was talking, I gotta find out more information, but talking with Williams Service, I just said, hey, what do we like for new trucks? And he said, not good. He said, Internationals at least, I haven't followed up with Mac and Peterbilt and all them too, but he said, International's already shut off 2023 trucks. No more ordering. 2024s they're not even quoting because they don't know what the price is going to be. So it may get to the point that if everybody's going to be that way, we may have to just say, put us on a list, and I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But and of course we talked about too, is it something that we go out and we look for used trucks that have less miles? Well, there's used trucks out there, but again, what are you buying for used and things to that effect.
how many trucks do we have right now?
6, 7.
We're only using 3 or 4.
Well, but when we blade patch and things like that, we're using them all. We're pulling guys out of there. But anyway, it's just something to look at, down the road. If
Can you place an order then not take it when it gets here?
I suppose you could. I know he told me that
He was
just,
cars now.
yeah, he just told me that he sold one to Hardy County. There's, I think he said that had a plow and everything else in, was about $170,000. But he thought we could get in the $150,000 range. But of course, that's just for an international. But we'll find out, talk to the other dealers, but it's, you know, just like everything else in the equipment world right now, so. The crews are, doing patching on 290th. Probably gonna be at least the end of this week, and then we'll have to figure out where to go from there. We have plenty of places to go.
Come on down.
Come on down.
There's plenty of calls.
Yeah, there's, yeah, and I mean, that's,
There's a letter in our packet from Gossel, said thank you. On the chip
oh,
seal.
for the chip seal. Yeah, that turned out well.
I think there was a letter from Hillsborough, said thank you.
Okay.
Indigo.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody's appreciated.
Yeah, I think it turned out well. Well, hopefully it continues that way. So, yeah, because I mean, we got, I told you before, basically all roads. Got a couple spots on 330th, Whale Creek, Limestone, 290th, 60th, Old Mill. Yep. So, Kansas south of 190th.
You knew I was worried to ask.
Well, no, I just, you know, like I said, I wish I could just let them get them run away. So.
Well, Mike asked me.
Well, they still won't be any blade patching on Indigo for them.
Right.
So I was, my ask on him, Kansas is always, when are they gonna get started?
Yeah.
On the concrete.
Oh,
And then how far north are they going?
yeah, yeah,
Have
All
you
the
considered
way
going
to
another
the-
mile and a half,
yeah, yeah,
or another mile?
Yeah.
I keep getting that.
yeah,
You can tell them, I know somebody lives right up there and I'm cutting them off a mile, half a mile early, so that's fine.
Well, I can go as far as you guys want me to go. I mean, that's.
We'd like to, just the money won't go that
I
far.
know. But anyway, they still haven't got back that data information, I guess.
In the drone.
In the drone, yeah. So, and then the other thing, just throwing this out there, it's a little early, but something to think about is what the plan is for doing any asphalt work next year. The reason I'm saying was KDOT did let the project on 77 from Florence to Burns. Bettis Asphalt got that. They're out, I think, Ottawa or something like that up there. But anyway, so.
Topeka.
Huh? Topeka, okay. I'm guessing they'll be bringing in the plant. So if we wanted to do some work, I mean, obviously we couldn't just say, hey, you're gonna do it. We'd have to go out to bids, but if we went out to bids and they knew they were gonna have a plant here, they'd do something to look at. You know, obviously looking at sunflower, possibly. Sunflower's not doing real well with the traffic this year, not just all the way around. 140th east of, or even 140th west, whatever. Try to get as close as we can to cut down on the trucking costs, because that's typically what gets us. But just something to think about.
You know where the plant's gonna be?
No, I got a call into him, I haven't heard back, but you know, honestly, I have no idea. You know, it's a fairly long project, so I'm guessing they may wanna put the project somewhere, or put the plant somewhere in the middle. But if they're gonna get materials out of Harshman's, a lot of people just put their plant right there, and a lot less.
The KDOT parking there in Florence.
It could be. Yeah, again, I don't know. You know, that's, they have a little, I mean, I've seen some projects that are even longer, they'll have 2 plants, you know, so that trucking's what's killing them right now all the way around for the amount of trucks as well as fuel. So, but anyway, something to just think about. That I think the only other project that KDOT is going to let, last I knew, was K4 from Harrington to Council Grove. So that's going to be pretty far out of our little neck of the woods up there. Unless you want to do some work on 340th or Quail Creek or whatever else.
So are they gonna chip seal or reseal 15 next year?
No.
They weren't. I thought that was on 23.
They had talked about it, but it didn't come through. So
that baby's gonna be in bad shape time to get
well,
to
it could be. The other thing that I have talked to Joe Palick about these areas here out there, that if it's okay, I would like to write a letter and get your guys' blessing, or have you guys actually send a letter, whatever else. When they do these projects, we had the same thing on K15 when they did that there at 90th. We typically go up to the normal right-of-way, which is basically parallel with their main roadway. And basically what you call that radius return comes up there. That's technically part of the KDOT right-of-way. They hardly ever work on those. They just go through and pave them. So from that new pavement over to our pavement, that hardly ever gets touched. Now on the west side of 90th, we actually did that. We went all the way up to the front because we were doing work there. So, and Joe admitted that it's not a good process, but you look at Burns and 40th, and I guess that would be the other ones going, especially going west. Otherwise, we would never touch it. And I do know the one on 40th going west is not in good shape. So I was going to ask them if we, basically from Marion County's request, if they could do something. So anyway, because otherwise, we get in trouble because the constituents say, why don't you fix that? And I said, well, technically speaking, it's not our, Now I do on 40th, they actually bought right away a lot longer. They've always said in the past, is no, we'll just stick with the parallel right of way through there, which is basically the returns or whatever else. So, unless you guys aren't interested, but I'm trying to do the best we can with what we have, so.
I think consensus would be to support the letter.
Just out of curiosity, I did talk to the project manager for Cornejo, about what the contractor would have charged us to do those side roads and stuff over there. He said it would have been probably several $100,000 because that just kills them
their time.
Yeah, their unit costs and labor and everything else. So we always looked at it. It took us longer to do it, but we definitely did it for less than that.
I
So
feel like probably sometime you have it also figured out.
I can give you what it costs for us.
Yeah. I'm just saying when we do the bid though, see what it's going to cost.
Well, I could put it as an alternate.
Alternate,
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, other than that, I think that was it. Unless you guys had anything else, so I don't want to stay any longer than I have to.
Nobody's speculating what oil's gonna be next year.
I did talk with one division manager from APAC. He said he put in a bid for oil next year, and he said I think they're running at what $800-900 a ton now. The quote was for $1,200 per ton, which is that much more again. And he said the reason is there's so much volatility and speculation that if you want a fixed price, that's what it's going to be.
Well, that's because our administration keeps drawing down our strategic reserve to where we're gonna have nothing.
Whatever else it is, But he said,
Bottom line.
and basically,
It'd be $120 a barrel right now if they weren't drawing out of the strategic.
and basically what he said was, like I did on this project, it was a little extra work and things like that to figure it, but putting that index in there every month basically covers both sides. As the owner, if the price goes up, the contractor's not stuck with it, because if there's any doubt whatsoever, they're going to put extra money in there to cover that.
Right.
Like he said, at $1,200 a ton, that's ludicrous. But they're trying to hedge their bets as well. So
It's not hedging the bet, just guaranteed it.
well, but even then, there's no guarantee, because say for instance the oil does go above that, you're still like I said, they want to fix them out. So
Was there any reason, Bryce, on going back to these roads, some houses have blacktop and they're close to the intersection, so I suppose you guys had extra blacktop, so that's why you did certain houses along Indigo?
what I told Steve was if it was asphalt, it needs to go back to asphalt, and that's pretty much what we tried to do. Some of them haven't been done in so long that there was a little bit of question on that too. So yeah, and like I said, it's not as though we tried to do one for one, not for the other. So
I just wondered if you have any problem with the rock, I'd be in favor of bringing some good gray rock to put it back up to.
Yeah. Well, and again, we're still better off now than what we were. We had got rid of those huge drop offs. So
Very good.
all right. Okay. Thanks.
All right, Tina, you wanted an executive
Yeah, just a short one for,
personnel?
it's for an FMLA.
I move we recess to executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission and Tina for 5 minutes, 2:32 to 2:37.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 2:37.
You would get older.
No,
Everything along pretty good in the cold.
I get along pretty good.
It was 110, I don't get along very good.
Yeah, you can only take so many clothes off before you get
This
arrested.
conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're public.
Goodness.
We're out of executive session. No decisions made.
A while back, went against the COLA raises with something else in mind. And I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve the $1 an hour step raise across the board of the pay plan.
You had a couple exceptions to that, didn't you? Or you had 18 exceptions?
As proposed, it didn't have commission included in there. It didn't have EMS because we just pushed them up.
I think that was it.
Okay. Here's my motion.
What's your motion again?
What's the effective date? Would that be effective for January pay period?
Yes.
Would you make it about the next year? Do you want to wait until January?
Well, the COLA raises were all.
They were for January, that's true.
Right.
So.
Or you want to make it effective? I just need an effective date.
Right.
I'm good with January unless we're persuading unanimous.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Just discussion.
Okay,
December 21st, co-sign pay days.
Well, that would, right, so the January pay period starts December 21st.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so is there a second to the motion?
Discussion.
Just discussion's all I want.
Okay, well, if it doesn't get a second, it isn't a vote.
Second.
Okay, Crowfoot seconded. Now we're up for discussion.
What was the, explain, redo your, or what was your motion again?
Motion was to, across the board, $1 an hour step raise, except for EMS, we just raised them, and commission, leaving commission out of that.
Okay. We just made some other raise too. We took a
Yeah.
pretty good raise there in county clerk's position. I don't know, I was trying to think back of who else we might have give raises to or something, besides the EMS and county clerk. I'm just looking at your motion saying, are we gonna go up another $1? No, EMS, you said no. So, I just
We
want
pretty well did across their board. We did all the way across their board, and it was more than $1, so.
Did that include all the department heads?
Yes, because we're not doing the cost of living. So actually, they're not getting as much as they would from the cost of living.
Right.
But the bottom tier brackets are getting more than they would on a cost of living. Full transparency.
Well, I think it's fair.
A lot of what the process you're using is it's helping our lower paid individuals.
So we can get hiring accomplished.
We wait no second.
No, we got a second. We're finishing out discussions and questions. Don't rush it.
Anybody got any opposition to January?
I guess
Appropriate time.
I'm gonna throw out the amendment and see if it gets any votes. I would, my amendment would be to make an effective date the next pay period, which would be October, if there's a second to it.
So it'd be 2 months early.
It'd just be moving it up 3 months, effective date. Is there a second? Hearing none, the amendment dies. So we're back to the original motion.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion or questions? If not, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Have you think about it longer, decide to do something different, just expedite it. Thank you.
Very good. Any other business, commission comments?
Just a comment about our building out on the highway. I don't know about you guys, but boy, I sure got some.
The rumor mill has
I got
definitely
some
been activated.
real comments, but any way you look at it, you know, unless we can get grant money, we're gonna have to go somewhere different. We're gonna have to do something different.
Well, part of the information that never gets out is, at the time, it was an investment of $50 a square foot for a
Right.
good use building.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time, the information we had, we thought we could do renovation for 60,000. You know,
Well,
the 50
I don't know,
to $50 to
square foot.
$75 a square foot. Well, obviously, it was more involved than we originally thought. Again, we bought it below market.
But then Krista included everything that she
Right,
wants.
right.
She went for the whole. rest of
Well,
it.
she stated though, this is what is needed
Yes.
Which
to
is-
have a adequate health
But
department.
sometimes you can't always get what you need.
And that is what, when we jumped on the used building, we were looking at consistent office space, not at storage, other factors that went into it.
Well, another thing I might ask, you need to think about, our county attorney was just in here.
Right.
They want more room.
Right.
Think about moving Road and Bridge to have an office out there. Think about EMS having an office out there. Put a big wall in between there. Move the county attorney down those two offices, which they want.
Well, we know the county attorney wants that space back.
Yeah.
We also know it's not compatible with EMS, and that we had our original discussion. The clientele for county attorney and clientele for EMS coming in the same proximity, you would have to have secured entrance.
Well, that's what I was saying. EMS, think about moving me. EMS, we got our EMS building out there. Would it be bad to have an EMS office out there? I'm just bringing it up.
Well, and that's what we gotta.
I'm just bringing up to think about.
Yeah, I don't care where we go, but I think, in my mind, Kent, I was on the track of somebody, whoever it be, takes that office now and does the best with what we can.
Yeah, yeah.
If we move the health somewhere else,
Yeah.
that one or two departments, or three, emergency management, where are they gonna end up at? So, I'm on the same track, I didn't put
Yeah,
no.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just bringing it up for
Right.
fact.
Right.
I'm on the same track, just I didn't put no names to it.
There's lots of departments could move out there.
Another factor, I happened to be visiting with IT the other day, and he brought up a few, you know, be careful where you move what. I mean, there are IT issues, and they vary by department. Which I hadn't thought of. I picked out another department to move out there. He right away raised a red flag about that. But that doesn't mean it can't be done.
You said to buy another server or something.
Well, you plug that into the price or the project, cost of the project.
Another 50,000.
But again, we've got to come up with a plan. I mean, Randy talked about it last week, Ken's bringing it up this week. We've got to, but how does the commission want to, you know, we tried doing a committee earlier in the year, that didn't get us anywhere.
People in the courthouse.
Yes.
In the end, we got to make the decision whether people lie or not.
That's right.
Yes.
On the
Another
dark.
two.
What did you say?
So I'm in a little dark a little bit here because I don't have all the facts on this building, so. I just got home and got bombarded about,
Same thing.
yeah.
If you have 5 minutes after, I can give you the information we got last week and
Unless it
So
wasn't
part of it,
sitting here.
a lot of the information was wrong in the paper sentence.
We realize that, but that's, somebody's reading it, so.
You want to establish a committee again? What do you?
I think you get established committee where you've got several different departments in there, you're just gonna start butting heads. I mean, it comes down to us, we need to decide what we wanna put out there, and that's it. That's the way I feel.
EMS is nervous because they're hearing, different things changing and an incompatibility of the two departments. There's uncertainty in departments now too.
I mean, still gotta do something with the health department.
Yes.
Next couple of years.
Yeah.
We don't have a deadline yet.
Well, but one thing with the health department, there is, I think she said $67,000 grant out there for furnishings. Which, don't turn your nose up at $67,000.
Probably could put the 67,000 right in there where they're at now.
Yeah, that's true.
How about, I mean, we sort of tell me
Labor
planning and zoning, but I don't know about their issues is, I don't think they have any server things and all that kind of stuff, planning and zoning. You know, I mean, that's a possibility too.
They do, I mean,
They get off of our server pretty good.
But everybody does.
You know,
they have specific needs that would have, yes,
Okay.
because of mapping and,
yeah, Matt,
yeah.
so that would be probably tough for them, but maybe, I don't know.
I mean, but I wouldn't just,
Say it's easy,
right.
it'll be something.
What departments do we have that would be flexible enough to be able to?
I mean, with the internet, you could.
County
That's
clerk's
a
office.
question you didn't want me to ask, sorry.
No, I just don't like them.
I mean, it's really a question to Lloyd.
All right, we're throwing a lot of questions out. How about, I know it's on October. Our next meeting is the 26th.
Is that the one where Commissioner Becker will be gone that meeting?
That's
It's all right, you can still talk about it.
Okay.
Well, I'd rather, we're not gonna decide anything on Monday.
I mean, there's good internet service out there.
I can talk with Lloyd about some
One good thing
different
about it,
ideas.
we got it. Just rather than right.
Why don't we set aside some time on the 26th? And in the meantime, try and get some questions answered and some needs assessed.
Do we run a survey and ask the department how many square feet
No.
they're using right now?
We tried that earlier.
And that's part of why we didn't know that the health department was.
Well, Jimmy, I can tell you, it's just what Dave said. They come with the gold, they want the gold.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does. And it's like Ken said, we gotta tell them, sometimes we just have to do what we do.
Yeah, because there's some specific questions I'd like to bounce off of Tina and some specific questions to bounce off of Lloyd. And hopefully bring those to the next meeting.
That'd be good.
But, we've got some departments we've already made almost a year's worth of investment into the place. I hate to start the uncertainty of changing that when we were ready.
How long do you want, like 30 minutes to discuss?
At least 30 minutes, yeah. Make it at the end of the session. We'll do it at the very end. That way if it goes longer. And that'll be the 26th, right?
Yes.
Okay. That way you can get more phone calls.
That is, that would be cold. Cold.
I've been pretty avid about getting into this storage building, but space was always a big thing no matter what. And I don't know if all that money from ARPA could be transferred, but we got the space right here, right where we need something else, right beside us. I don't know, just throwing it out. I mean, right here's where we need to be. I don't care. I've always said that we don't need to spread everybody out all over the country. We need them right here. So that's just for thought.
Just short of parking.
Parking, we'll find someplace. They'll park across the street where I park. I don't mind walking. I mean, we got a whole lot over there. We can make parking over there. It's over there. But I don't mind walking.
So I have a question. So with the attic clean out,
Yes.
you know, and technically when we get rid of things, since they were purchased general tax dollars, we are supposed to try to offer them to the public to buy. Well, I mean, some of the stuff doesn't have much value, you know, but for instance, a desk in the EMS department that they're not gonna use anymore. I had them offered to the departments, but then nobody wants it, so now they wanna know what to do with it. Well, we have the issue with the attic, so I don't know if we wanna try, I mean, it's gonna eventually soon start getting cooler. How would the board feel about us, like, starting to bring stuff down? And if it's something that's got any value at all, take it out to the new building and have an auction out there. But I didn't know how soon you wanted to try to renovate that building and what you want to do, but if we could use it as a place to start putting things to sell, we might be able to get an auction done in November if we start. Anyway, just wondering what you thought, or get a roll-off dumpster and get a pod out here to put things in. But
Get the chute out of the window.
those windows are really small.
Chainsaw, cut it out.
They're still big enough usually for that chute.
I think that's a good idea in the interim before we finally decide what we're gonna do with it.
Right.
Use it for something.
Or the other option would be to go across the street if Plannington gets moved out.
Right.
But I don't know, that building is pretty small.
And we'll hold money.
Could you co-sign stuff to rent?
Yeah.
People, let them auction it off?
Well, I mean,
There's
yeah,
still
you
a
would want to
transit.
contract with someone to do that.
Yeah.
And I think they would be willing, but we still have to get the stuff
Yeah.
over there.
One nice thing about Tina's idea is you move it out there over time, over a month or
Yeah.
2-month period.
What difference?
And then there's a location to do it. They can come in and do the auction.
Yeah, they can come in and do it, or they can pick it up and take it on.
Right, but then at least it's out of here. I would say yes.
So
Any-
start moving toward
any
that, is
opposition?
that,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that commission.
thank you.
Brad is back. Would you like to?
Do we have keys to it where we can get
We do
into
have
it?
keys, and I just talked to Ashley today about changing utilities over, because we hadn't done that yet, so.
I didn't know, are they out?
Yes,
Okay,
they know.
okay, so it is available.
Since
All right.
first of September, yes.
Very good. Got a plan? 10 minutes, Brad? One?
That should be plenty.
I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad and Tina, for 10 minutes, 2:55 to 3:05.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 3:05.
Don't you read that?
You're on.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. I move we adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carried 4-0. We are adjourned.
Got a good air conditioner. Let's do that one.
Is it nice and cool upstairs?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, by the way. We might want to tell them we're reversing the